Every creature's body is critical to their survival.
With sophisticated designs evolved to feed, capture, mate, and ultimately kill or be killed.
These physical body parts and behaviors that complement them are a creature's adaptations. So get ready for the most amazing. This is the Be the Creature Survival Adaptation Countdown.
Be an insider in the creature world. That's the mission. The Krat brothers, dropped in remote regions to live with the creatures. Through their eyes, on their turf, by their rules. Be the creature.
All of these creatures are amazingly different in shape and size, with adaptations like sticky 2-foot-long tongues, a hammer-shaped head, jaws that lock down on prey, wings that fly, and bodies designed for speed. Adaptations are the key to survival.
So we're counting down the creatures with the most amazing adaptations we've seen so far.
Let the countdown begin.
From as many as 50 million creatures alive today, here are our top 15. Number 15.
Beginning the countdown is a giant of its kind, a predator with very effective hunting techniques.
The largest lizard in the world, the Komodo dragon. The Komodo dragon. With hunting adaptations that make her the most formidable predatory lizard. Once, millions of years ago, it ruled the prehistoric oceans in the form of Mosasaur, a creature 10 times bigger than a human.
Now the Komodo dragon walks the earth of the Indonesian archipelago and can weigh up to 360 pounds. Fins have turned into limbs with 2-inch-long claws, and now 3 main adaptations working together make this a deadly form. Are hidden behind it. Serrated like a kitchen knife for cutting flesh, these teeth are very effective wound-inflicting weapons.
Oh, brutal. He's got a chunk of meat taken out right here, right at the haunches. Yeah, the inner leg.
The wound is just the beginning. This hunt is not over. The third Komodo hunting adaptation is at work as we speak, weakening the buffalo. Toxic saliva.
The Komodo dragon's mouth is a breeding ground for bacteria, and the saliva is a septic mess of incredibly toxic bacterial agents, including E. coli, plus 4 others which can be lethal to humans.
One bite delivers the toxins into the bloodstream of the prey. You are going to get a nasty, deadly infection. The infection is going to grow and grow. The putrefaction will spread in this buffalo's body. Then nature just takes its course.
It can take weeks for a buffalo to fall, but the dragons are patient. Cold-blooded, they can go without eating for a month. Whoever the victim, the Komodo dragon is ready when it finally succumbs to the septic bite. And the Komodo claims his prize.
Oh my God.
Whoa, some of that meat got in my hair.
When tongue, teeth, and toxic saliva are deployed effectively, the Komodo takes nourishment and energy from his prey and makes it his own. Life takes life. Number 14 in our survival adaptation countdown.
When there's a breakthrough in design in the creature world, the competitive advantage gained can cause an explosion of new species.
The next creature is one of 977 species of its kind, all born out of the same basic, highly successful adaptations. The creature we're talking about is the Mexican free-tailed bat. Inside this cave is the largest concentration of mammals in the world. 40 million Mexican free-tailed bats.
The air is alive with bats. The walls are crawling with bats.
And it's the best place to see the two adaptations the bats owe their success to. The first, flight. Believe it or not, these wings developed from hands.
Through evolution, the bat's fingers have elongated to form the framework of the wing. Skin stretched between the fingers and all the way to the foot completes the innovative design. What was once a hand becomes a wing, and the bat is airborne.
At 12 weeks old, the young free-tailed bats are learning how to master this critical adaptation.
They're using me almost like a launch pad. Getting on my shoulder, getting on my head, and then boom, going. Oh wow, there's one on my face. Whoa!
Millions of bats flying at high speeds in the dark. How is it possible?
Enter a second technological breakthrough adaptation, echolocation. Without it, this would be total chaos.
As the bats fly around, they make a series of high-pitched ultrasound squeaks that bounce off objects and return to be captured by the structure of the bat's face and ears and then interpreted by the brain. That is how they navigate.
Martin, they're pouring out of the cave, heading off for the night's hunt.
It's time, let's go.
Let's get airborne.
As they emerge, each bat is echolocating to navigate. We can't hear the ultrasound frequency, but this machine can.
Listen to that sound. There's so many bats coming out, echolocating. It's just like static.
Once dispersed, echolocation becomes more than navigation. It's also an advanced hunting weapon. Most bats have an average echolocation range of about 33 feet, and the ability to distinguish between objects a pin's width apart. Echolocation, combined with the hand wing, has helped the bat become the most diverse group of mammals on Earth.
Number 13 serves a different but very critical purpose.
One thing every creature competes for is a mate. Battles for mates can get intense, so creatures need special adaptations that protect them and make them serious contenders.
And nobody battles better than the bighorn sheep.
Bighorn sheep, head bashers of the Rocky Mountains.
Why do they do this? It's all about the females. Male bighorn sheep must battle for breeding rights to the precious females of the herd. A ram that proves himself as the best in head-bashing battles will father up to 6 times more lambs than the others. His genes will dominate the future of the species, and those massive horns are designed to deliver the blows.
You can see the power in the clash, especially when you're this close. You can almost feel it.
Head battling is such an important part of the bighorn sheep's biology that the rams are designed to increase force. First, there's body size and weight. Up to 300 pounds of mass set in motion.
Standing high for extra force. Leg power, body weight focused on the point of contact. About 1,000 pounds of clash force, like a bowling ball dropped from a 2-story building.
Oh, that's gotta hurt. And blows like that could inflict such serious damage to the brain that bighorn rams have special adaptations to deal with the force of the impact. And the most amazing feature is in the skull. When you take a look at the cross-section, you can see that the skull has a double layer, and between those 2 layers, there's a cavity, a basic shock absorber with flexible bone connecting the 2, and air-filled sinuses. So the force comes into the horn, gets absorbed by this cavity, this shock absorber in the skull, before it reaches the brain.
If the sheep on the left didn't have the skull shock absorber, upon impact his brain would slam against the skull walls, causing massive damage or death. The brain on the right is protected.
The bighorn sheep, with mind-blowing adaptations for one of life's most important competitions, the battle for mates. Number 12 in our survival adaptation countdown.
An adaptation that lets you get to food that others can't access gives you a great competitive edge.
Now we have a tie between the spotted hyena and the lammergeier.
The spotted hyena, hunter, thief, and scavenger. One important physical adaptation gives this creature an edge among competing super predators: the jaw. Built with the most powerful crushing machinery of any land predator in Africa, it can deliver over 1,000 pounds of force.
Lions and other predators eat meat and organs of their prey, with teeth designed to slice like shears. But the hyena's shearing teeth are larger and stronger, with a more robust jawbone and a skull design that increases pressure. With these important mechanical advantages, the hyena can bust open areas of nutrition that its rivals can't.
Hidden inside every bone is the treasure: extremely nutritious fatty bone marrow, with over 6 times more calories than meat provides. 1,000 pounds of force, enough to crush a human skull.
It's amazing that they can crunch right through a zebra leg bone.
That jaw lets hyenas eat 90% of most carcasses. The other top predators of Africa only eat 60%.
Wow. Yeah, he was going for the molars on that. He took it to the side and said, let's crush this thing.
Yeah, I felt the squeeze.
Tied with the hyena at number 12 is the lammergeier. Believe it or not, this bird can bust bones too. She has found a way to combine her physical adaptation of flight with a behavioral, gravity harnessing technique. They have this unique ability, this talent of being able to pick up these heavy bones, fly high up in the sky, and then drop the bones down, smashing them on the rocks. Incredible impact to break them open to expose the delicious marrow inside. There was the pickup, and now he's heading toward the crash zone. Nice height, real nice height. And he drops the bone, accelerating with gravity. It hits with about 37,000 pounds of force.
This is cool. This is really cool.
How and when this Isaac Newton of birds discovered this technique remains a mystery, but it is an adaptation that sets it apart from all other vultures. When the bone is broken, the calcium-rich bone and the fatty, nutritious marrow gets crammed down his throat.
He swallowed it.
Wow.
He swallowed it. That was a huge bone.
Two creatures, the lammergeier and the spotted hyena, each use physical adaptations to unlock a key source of nutrition. Number 11 in our survival adaptation countdown.
Another way to go is to become a creature with adaptations that let you use something others leave behind.
You've got to give it to the dung beetle.
And here he is, pushing along a perfect sphere of elephant dung. The waste from Africa's giant is the precious treasure of one of Africa's little guys. An elephant can digest only 45% of what it eats, but the dung beetle is adapted for feeding on the rest.
This is a male dung beetle, and he's collecting material for his ball. He has his flat, spatula-like front legs to make the dung ball. That ball just keeps growing. But now how do you move cargo that is as much as 200 times your weight? Well, that's exactly why the dung beetle invented the wheel in the first place. Ball it up and move it out. And there he goes. Look at that. The back legs are the pushers. The dung beetle dung ball rolling technique is to walk with your front legs and push the dung ball with your back legs, kind of like we would push
a huge medicine ball.
Did you see that? They stop every once in a while, climb up on top of the dung ball, and orient themselves. They use the sun's rays as a base point for their internal compass and can maintain a perfectly straight line. Oh, look, see there, he's looking around. There he goes, pushing backwards. He can move weights that are equivalent to me moving a 40,000-pound object. And he won't stop until he's found a place to bury his food.
Okay, now he's found a spot to dig.
He'll bury the ball so he can eat it in peace. We'll move just this way a little bit. Now watch this. Dung beetles have an excellent sense of smell. They can smell dung from around 2 miles away. So he's like, where's my dung ball? Where's my dung ball? Oh no, where'd it go? Where'd it go? I left it here. Oh, there it is. There you go. So he finds it right away. Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? There it is. My dung ball. Okay. Look at that. There you go. They're so funny. And he's back to his spot in no time. He's going under. This is cool. Oh, wow. Chris, look at this. He's digging at a hole and the ball is falling in on top of him. A perfectly adapted technique. In 20 minutes, the cargo is underground and the beetle has food for a couple of days. The dung beetle, the pooper scooper of the wild Serengeti.
Number 10. The next creature gets a spot in our countdown for an adaptation of behavior, and it is unique and ingenious.
He's talking about the Japanese macaque.
Also known as the snow monkey. Besides humans, the Japanese macaque is the northernmost primate in the world. Inhabiting the mountains of the Shiga Heights, where temperatures in winter are regularly below freezing, this monkey has developed physical adaptations to survive the harsh, snowy conditions. First, they have a thick coat, much thicker than the macaques from the south. They've got that fur coat, but look at these guys, walking barefoot in the snow. Imagine that.
30 seconds of going through the snow, and my hands are freezing.
Second adaptation is a specialized circulatory system. It automatically pumps warm blood to the fingers when they need it.
These are amazing physical adaptations, but this group of monkeys have added a behavioral adaptation to their arsenal of survival tactics. Beneath these mountains, intense volcanic activity creates energy. Energy that surfaces as warm volcanic hot springs. And these monkeys tap into it. They have discovered hot tubbing. Originally discovered by a single curious female in 1963, this remarkable behavior caught on with the rest of the troop. And now, each new generation of snow monkey learns this survival skill.
The temperature of the water is an incredible 100 degrees Fahrenheit. That's some 70 degrees warmer than the frigid air. The snowball melts in just a few seconds.
He's fascinated that it just disappears as soon as it hits the water.
So by spending time in this hot tub, these monkeys don't have to expend their own valuable energy to keep their bodies warm.
What would we do without this hot tub?
What would the monkeys do without this hot tub? The snow monkey of Japan, using a behavioral adaptation to push the limits of survival.
Number 9 in our survival adaptation countdown.
You and I are land creatures. We're built for solid ground. But imagine the changes our bodies would have to go through if our kind decided to head for the seas and live underwater.
It seems impossible, but miraculously creatures have done it. Next up, the seagoers. The manatee, a mammal.
The penguin, a bird.
And the sea lion, a mammal.
They all came from distinctly different creatures that lived on land. The sea lion came from an ancestor most like the bear.
The penguin, an ancestor resembling the petrel.
And believe it or not, the manatee was once most like the elephant.
In search of new opportunities in a different environment, manatees evolved as an aquatic specialist. But to this day, you can still see a mass transformation. Legs flattened to become flippers. Look, you can still see the remnants of the elephant-like nails on the ends of the manatee's flippers.
The sea lion spends time on land and in the sea, so it struck a balance in design.
Their flippers are modified feet.
That can still get around on land. And look at the tail, no longer of critical use, but an amazing remnant of its past. So while the sea lion holds on to a certain competence on land, her transforming adaptations have made her a creature of grace in the water.
The penguin, a bird that can't fly. He turned his back on the skies and now dives to 100-foot depths with wings that once flew through the air.
Most birds have hollow, lightweight bones to help keep them high in the sky. But a penguin has traded in flight for life underwater. No longer can they fly, and their bones have changed completely. Instead of being hollow and light, they're solid and heavy. That helps him dive underwater and fly, so to speak. The torso thickened, wings strengthened, and feathers became small, sleek, and heavily oiled, turning this bird into an underwater missile.
In only the past 35 million years, these mammals and a bird, newcomers to the water world, have abilities that rival fish, who've been down there for 430 million years. In fact, they're skilled enough to hunt fish, and they are fast and maneuverable enough to avoid being killed by fish, even the great white shark. Okay, they're moving through here fast. Yeah, they know this is a shark zone, and they are moving.
One just breached.
Oh, he's dodging. I went over the shark. He did it.
The seagoers have adapted and conquered a completely new environment.
Number 8 in our survival adaptation countdown.
Next up in the countdown, two very different creatures adapt to each other, working together to increase both their odds of survival. Mongoose meet warthog.
Hygiene meet nutrition. That's what this special relationship is about. These mongoose are one of the few groups in the world to groom these amazing pigs. And that's what the warthog wants, hygiene, to get clean.
The banded mongoose, they've learned that there are blood-filled ticks and other parasites on these warthogs.
So the mongoose want nutrition, and they formed a survival alliance.
The warthog eases in, soliciting a cleaning. The mongoose march in to feed. If left alone, the ticks and other parasites could transmit deadly disease and siphon energy from the warthogs. But when eaten, they can be very nutritious and tasty for a mongoose. Two mammals in a mutual relationship, with the mongoose benefiting by getting a free meal off the back of a warthog, and the warthog benefiting by getting parasite-free. Ow, the mongoose are thorough. So a fellow creature can provide an important survival function.
Number 7 in our survival adaptation countdown. Crisis brings out the best in creature survival. That's the time when change and adaptation can mean the difference between life and death.
And can bring about entirely new species, survivors like the marine iguana.
For their ancestors, the crisis probably began millions of years ago with a violent storm. which swept the land-based iguanas out to sea. Clinging to life on flotsam and jetsam, the iguanas survived a miraculous 600-mile journey from somewhere on the coast of South America to the middle of the ocean, until finally they washed ashore on the Galapagos Islands.
Wow. Here they are. Marine iguanas found nowhere else in the world but here on the Galapagos Islands. Look at them, they are cool. Yeah. Classic iguana spines down the back, and hundreds of them. Hundreds.
Successful only because of their ancestors' ability to adapt and find food in a harsh world of volcanic rock and very little vegetation. It was find food or die. And miraculously, the ancestors found food in an unlikely place, the sea. And so this creature has become the world's only sea-going lizard. They can hold their breath for up to an hour as they make their way down to where they have tapped into a nutritious and abundant food source below, algae. So what adaptations allow them to do what no other lizard does? Their snouts are shortened and became round for grazing on the algae on the hard rocks.
And she can hold her breath for up to an hour while she eats. Her tail is flat and vertical for better propulsion. And her claws are long and sharp for latching onto rocks in strong currents. That tough reptilian skin protects her from salt water, which would dry her out. And her lungs are built-in buoyancy controls. In deep water, the air compresses, helping her stay down, but then it expands again as she surfaces. Once they get on land, the marine iguana's final seagoing adaptation comes into play.
Oh! You see that? He salted me.
Too much salt can dry out a lizard.
So, to get rid of all the salt water they're ingesting, they collect the salt and excrete it out of their nostrils. And a big sneeze.
For the marine iguana, the power of adaptation averts crisis. Number 6 in the survival adaptation countdown.
Of all the major sensory devices, eyes, nose, ears, tongue, there is none that has become more versatile than the nose of a certain creature.
It's the multi-purpose tool of noses, the trunk of the elephant. This is the elephant's trunk, up to 6 feet long, 290 pounds. Over 150,000 muscles running along its length, it can perform at least 10 important life functions. First of all, this nose can smell. Raise it high in the air, and an elephant can detect incoming predators from up to 5 miles away, so they can usher the young to safety. But smell is just the beginning. The trunk acts like the most graceful arm, with 2 finger-like projections on the end that make up a virtual hand with precise muscle control. So the trunk becomes a precision feeding tool for eating vegetation, even tree bark.
Look at her using that trunk as a hand to peel the bark off the tree.
How did a nose get such fine muscular control? The trunk is actually the nose and upper lip, so it combines the nose, lip, and even face muscles into a powerful framework of 150,000 muscles.
That trunk is such an amazing feature. You tend to take it for granted, but when you really think about the fact that that is a modified nose and upper lip, and it can do so many things, help the elephant drink water by sucking water and squirting it in its mouth.
It's a water vacuum that holds 2.5 gallons in a single trunkful, good for drinking and bathing.
The trunk is even a grooming tool, the fingers useful for hard-to-reach itches. The suction feature is critical for dust baths, which prevents sunburn.
This incredible nose is even a communication device. Useful for tender moments and in arguments.
And this nose can be an anti-predator weapon. 290 pounds of nose set in motion, and the lions back off.
They just chase them away with their trunk.
Able to lift 550 pounds. This nose is strong enough to pick up a lion and toss it through the air.
They tripped over each other to get out of his way. The elephant's trunk, a truly remarkable nose.
Number 5 in our survival adaptation countdown.
The next creature gets a spot in the countdown for using an old adaptation in a new and very unexpected way.
We are on the blood trail of the vampire finch.
The sharp-beaked ground finch evolved as a seed eater with a sharp-edged beak that breaks open seeds and dismembers the occasional insect. That's what these birds do here on the Galapagos archipelago, except on Wolf and Darwin Islands, where the finch now uses this beak as a puncturing, bloodletting dagger.
You wouldn't know it looking at it, but that little nondescript sparrow-like bird has become a vampire.
Oh, there's a finch. It's approaching that booby. That right there is the vampire finch. Oh, rests right on the tail feathers of the booby where the booby can't reach. And goes in for the attack right at the base of the tail feathers. Picking and picking and picking away until the blood starts to flow, and then the finch laps up the blood.
A blood-sucking vampire finch, only here on Wolf and Darwin Islands.
Ooh, kept him at bay for a moment there. But the vampire finch is back, going right for that vulnerable spot. But how did this vampire behavior evolve? Most people believe that these birds started out picking ticks off the boobies, little parasites. And with their sharp beaks, they ended up puncturing the skin, getting a little blood out, and that began the vampire behavior. The finches realized that they could get nutrients from the blood of the boobies.
Blood is packed with valuable vitamins.
The vampire finches are relentless with their victims, attacking chicks and even raiding carcasses.
There's a finch right there eating maggots from the chick carcass.
They are feeding on the carcasses of the young,
And they are even attacking the unhatched. Even though there is the same species on other islands, this vampire blood drinking behavior has only evolved here with this bird.
Number 4 in the survival adaptation countdown.
The next creature has adaptations that can penetrate a concrete-like fortress guarded by millions of fierce soldiers. Look out for the giant anteater.
The epitome of specialization, the giant anteater eats ants and termites. 2 feet tall, 86 pounds. His keenest sense is smell, so we don't have to worry too much about being seen. He can eat 30,000 ants and termites in one day, an efficiency made possible by certain adaptations. He uses that sense of smell to sniff out his quarry, a sense of smell 40 times stronger than ours. Another adaptation, the claws, as long as 8 inches, folded over when he walks to keep them sharp. There.
Using those claws to scratch his head.
But their real purpose? They are so effective at ripping into ant hills or termite mounds, which are rock solid. But the claws demolish it, exposing the nest. The fortress is penetrated.
Now the tongue. A 2-foot-long tongue captures the ants in a sticky glue-like saliva. A rate of 150 licks per minute is made possible by a circular jaw motion, funneling ants down his throat before the ants have a chance to bite or sting. The anteater has no teeth, The stomach mechanically grinds up the food.
A specialized creature with a very specialized survival strategy.
Number 3 in our survival adaptation countdown. Apes are known for their intelligence, but there's one physical adaptation that has allowed them and us to put that intelligence to its greatest use.
Next in the countdown, the chimpanzee and the orangutan.
The chimpanzee from Africa and the orangutan from Indonesia, our closest relatives in the entire creature world.
Huge. Wow. Both are big, with the orangutan being the largest arboreal primate in the world. They're strong. The chimpanzee is 8 times stronger than a human. And ours in size. And like humans, they have self-recognition and the ability to foresee the outcome of their actions.
But perhaps their greatest adaptation is one so simple, yet absolutely critical. It allows them and us to use our remarkable intelligence more fully, the opposable thumb. Unlike the paws and feet of most other animals, the thumb of the apes is able to wrap around and oppose the other fingers, allowing for precise dexterity. The opposable thumb is unrivaled in its ability to manipulate objects.
Take a close look at their hands. They're so similar to ours. From the fingernails to the fingerprints, all the way to that opposable thumb.
Suddenly, with this adaptation, we were able to manipulate objects and create tools that help us survive. The opposable thumb, combined with intelligence, has let chimps and orangutans accomplish complex tasks in the wild, like using a rock as a tool to crack nuts, or learning to use a stick as a tool to get honey from a beehive without getting stung.
Yes, you did it. Perfect.
Brilliant creature.
With adaptations powerful enough to unlock a world of innovation.
The chimpanzee and the orangutan combine intelligence and the opposable thumb to make it as number 3 in our countdown of the most amazing survival adaptations.
Number 2 in the survival adaptation countdown.
Microscopic creatures in the ocean, called plankton, hold a lot of valuable energy.
How does a creature catch enough of these to achieve a giant size? Enter the whale shark.
Over 30,000 pounds, up to 60 feet long, the whale shark is a true giant, the largest fish on Earth. This monster is over 3 billion times larger than its prey. So how does a massive creature capture prey so small you can barely see them with the naked eye? The whale shark has a filter system that begins with the mouth. Up to 5 feet wide, the mouth is a giant net for microscopic creatures called plankton.
1,600 gallons of plankton-filled water sweeps inside the maw of the shark each hour. Giant sieves on the inside of the mouth capture anything larger than a pinhead, and then let the water pass through and out the gills.
A huge shark like this, eating tiny microscopic plankton and the smallest of fish. That's what this whale shark eats.
There is so much of this plankton in the world's oceans. In fact, the energy contained in plankton alone could support the entire human population for about a year. The whale shark has found an efficient, effective way to capture a huge amount of energy that comes in billions of tiny packages.
it is, number 1.
The snake body form is so unusual to us, but very successful all around the world.
And it's taken to the extreme by the giant anaconda. The giant anaconda is the heaviest snake in the world, and it can reach lengths of up to 28 feet. This anaconda that Chris and I found in the wetlands of Brazil was 22 feet long, just shy of the record. The snake's body itself is its adaptation, and the anaconda is the ultimate example of its abilities and power. Only when you're this close do you really appreciate this animal, who's at the top of the snake game when it comes to length and girth. This is a massive beast, massive.
Its body is made up of about 16,000 muscles and 350 vertebrae. First, this body can move. You can see the undulating motion of thousands of muscles moving the snake. On land, and even in the trees. Wherever it goes, the anaconda's body is a deadly weapon, locking prey in a merciless stranglehold. This 12-footer has a capuchin monkey in its coils. 46 pounds of pressure per square inch. The anaconda doesn't only surprise its prey from above, but also from below. The body is perfectly adapted for the water. Using a wave-like motion, the snake swims effortlessly.
He's got him. Chris is swimming with him. Filming him.
All 16 feet of this male anaconda is on the prowl, looking to sneak up on a 5-foot caiman crocodile or a 100-pound capybara.
Once caught, the constricting strategy of the anaconda is one of waiting and patience. You grab hold of your victim, and you don't try to crush the victim's lungs. You just hold and wait for that victim to exhale. He's got to do it sometime. And that's when the anaconda tightens its hold. So the exhale, tighten, tighten, tighten. Until there's no more air left in those lungs.
It usually takes about 4 minutes to kill its prey. And then this anaconda will swallow the capybara whole by implementing a final amazing adaptation, an unhinging jaw. His jaw can open almost 180 degrees, and his 6-inch head more than doubles in size in order to get the job done.
All snakes are equipped with this amazing adaptation, like this Galapagos snake swallowing a lava lizard while it is still alive. Each snake swallows animals in its own proportion. This Texas snake is swallowing a bat. But reaching more than a foot wide, no other snake has a mouth larger than the anaconda.
No doubt about it, the snake body design has stood the test of time. Snakes won a place in the natural world 150 million years ago and have been competitive survivors ever since. This giant, the massive anaconda, and the more than 2,700 species of snake alive today have conquered almost every major habitat on Earth. A record possible only with effective winning survival adaptations.
Those are just a few of the amazing adaptations creatures have come up with. There are millions more.
So we are continuing our lifelong adventure of encountering all of the amazing creatures with whom we share this planet.